that made it feel like even more of an attack, because I'm over here, then needing to defend myself, and I don't even know what I'm defending it about. But then when I realize it's this silly thing, I rang a doorbell because I wanted to ask a question that I never got to ask. And that is why I'm being attacked. Because then I said I wasn't going to post about it because I never got to ask the question. And I had to try to figure out in my mind, how is that even a bad thing? And I still don't get it. And I still don't get it. But that's why it's so much more infuriating, because to attack someone who did nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong. And now I am fully aware that she could do that to anyone. Then this person started accusing me of hacking her email, hacking her TikTok. If I knew how to hack, I would not be wasting that skill on you. But also, why do you think you are so important? Because you're not important enough for that. This person is trying, and then this person was saying, oh, I'm a victim of people surrounding Mica's case. She's trying to align herself, her experiences, as equating to that which Mica experienced. You're not the same. No, you're not. Stop it. Stop it. Don't try to make it seem like you and Mica just went through the same shit. No, I rang a fucking doorbell. All right? You're not going to act like this is the same thing. Okay? And then I did a live talking about how pointless this whole thing was. And then you came in under a different account, making statements like, I made you put your safety at risk. Acting like I'm attacking you and you are a victim. And I talked to other people. I found out about the pattern. And that's when I really, really, really realized it, that this person is abusive. This person goes around attacking different creators, trying to make themselves the victim. And then they do it to a point that that person backs down, ignores it. They turn enough people against them, and then they move on to the next. And then they do it again and again and again. Damn it. No more. Nope. I'm not doing it. Beach cleaner Becky, you didn't tell her to keep commenting. Yeah, right. I didn't tell her to keep commenting. What I told her was, this is her chance to stop. And I won't release shit. And then that person could not help themselves. They couldn't help themselves. They had to keep trying to convince other people to turn against me.
Give me an example of what I've spoke ill of creators. I have never publicly spoke ill of creators or sat on a live. I have never sat on lives and spoke ill of creators and sat there and bashed them. Oh, I've definitely been on. I've been on panels. Absolutely, I've been on many panels. Have you been in here since the beginning? Well, Ladybug, whenever someone goes in and they talk and they admit that they are a victim, when somebody goes in and admits that they are a victim to someone surrounding this after there has been 3 hours plus hours of bashing me for no reason, and the disgusting things that were said. And when I go in and I say, this needs to stop, and that I am a victim of someone surrounding this case, and that it's putting my safety at risk to have to do this. And that is all I said. And then to get out and to have my account hacked, trying to hack, and to have actual justice for Mica post reported. Yes, I'm coming on to tell my story, that when I said that I am a victim of somebody surrounding this case, I was told I don't give an F. And that's unacceptable, because where my line stands is we not going to victim blame people, and we're not going to sit there and bash someone who is. And I spent 10 minutes telling the story, because instead of telling the whole story, the post was made of my comments, but nothing about the hours of bashing me was put out there. Okay? And so I clearly said, I'm not asking anyone to go bash her. I'm using this as an example. To go and say that everybody take a break, because that's unacceptable behavior. What actions are not acceptable? I'd like to know, Ladybug. What exactly is not acceptable? Any of y'all, tell me what's not acceptable. What have I done that's not acceptable? I went directly into the live that was speaking about me. I told them to stop. I told them that I was a victim. I was told, F you, I don't effing care if you are. I said that it's putting my safety at risk to even have to do this. This is disgusting behavior and it needs to stop. I made a post that said, wow, to walk up to JP's house the day after 1 year of losing Mica, to give him a voice is disgusting. And instead of letting that post stand, it was reported. So nobody gets to see exactly what that post was. There was nothing wrong about that post. It did not bash someone's character. It did not call them irrelevant, and all of the disgusting words. Hold on, y'all. I did not go on a live. I didn't block anybody from seeing it. I didn't go on a 3-hour live bashing anyone. I had an opinion about the situation. I posted it and I moved on with my life. Because someone reported it. And they also reported other Mica stuff out of retaliation. And also, someone tried to change my password on my account. There was nothing wrong with the post. It did not deserve that type of retaliation. I'm not entitled to make what opinion? Listen, I'm not here to tell people what kind of character. I didn't make any decision. It was my page, and I made a very respectful post about my opinion about it. I did not get on a live and bash someone forever and ever and call the names that were called to me, and then go try to hack somebody's account and report 2 of their live, including Justice for Mica stuff. So if you're trying to compare me to what happened, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I don't care. Tomorrow, people can continue to do whatever they want to do. But I can tell you this, my character and my behavior in this particular movement speaks for itself. I don't need validation from you or anybody else. I'm doing this for the actual purpose of this movement. And that's just that. So if you want to keep going tat for tat and you want to bring people down, then go ahead. But I'm not going to pay attention to it or watch it. And everybody else is sick of it.
This is the only experience I've even had with it. And I'm going to shoot it down right now because I'm not having it. I don't get into the drama. I don't like it. I'm not a part of it. When drama comes at you, the only thing you can do is shut it down, prevent it from ever happening again. And that's exactly what I intend to do. I'm not going to ignore it because ignoring it enables it. And I'm not going to enable this behavior because this behavior is why Mica's dead right now. It was the abuser who was crazy, who was trying to convince everybody of all these things and, made the police confused, made, Horry County, Myrtle Beach, I'm sure, some of the church members, all that. They enable it. Some people called it out. Some people tried to stop it. But it continued. Because some people enabled it. Some people allowed it to continue. So if I do that, if I ignore it, how are we any closer to bringing justice for Mica? That's why I'm not going to shut up about it. People can think it's immature to do it or whatever, and that's fine. That's fine. When you are attacked, I will honor your wishes. But for the people who don't want to be attacked, for the people who want to bring about justice for Mica, for people who don't want the narcissist to win all the time, for those people, just reach out to me. I'll say it again, okay? Anybody who is familiar with the speech given by Martin Niemöller, I had said to myself, I wish more people heard his speech. Because if more people heard his speech, more people would speak up when something bad is happening, when something wrong is happening, because then they would see, just because it doesn't affect me doesn't mean it's okay to be silent and ignore it and turn the other way. So I'm going to tell you guys that part of the speech right now, in case you haven't heard it, in case you need to hear it, in case every now and then you find yourself unsure of what to do. Say something, okay? Because, as Martin Niemöller said, first they came for the socialists, but I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. And then they came for the trade unionists, but I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, but I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. But then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak. So always, always, always say something, because just because it doesn't impact you today, it could impact you tomorrow. Misty, Gypsy, Deadly Darlings, Chill Bumps, oh my gosh, thank you. But yeah, we cannot stand by and ignore these things when they happen. If we do that, we are no different than the people who stood by and saw what was happening to Mica and said nothing, did nothing. And if we do that, why are we part of this movement? Because it's just going to keep happening. You need to call it out. If you call it out, people will get used to calling it out. Don't just accept it and ignore it. Accepting it and ignoring it is why Mica is no longer here. So, being a part of this movement, why would I do that? Why would I sit back and ignore it? Jane Doe 1 and 2 stood up wishing they had before Mica died. They are brave. They are very brave. They are very brave. Because then people started attacking them for no reason. And what happened? A lot of people stood by and did nothing. They ignored it. Right? Not my business. Some people came to their defense. And it's one of those things where it's when someone is attacking somebody who is victimized, we need to learn how to better identify that. Because when I was going through and I was reading the comments, there were a lot of people who were seeming to agree with Be You Love Official. Then there were a lot of people who seemed to agree with Justice Warrior, Faith Warrior. And it was because of the spin. It was always because of the spin. And that's what narcissists do. They take a piece of the truth and they spin it. It gets people on their side. When people understand the full story, you know, then they understand. Because a person can take a video of you acting kind of crazy, yelling, seemingly about nothing, and post that and convince everyone that you're crazy. But when you see the 15 minutes before that of this other person poking and prodding and egging them into that state, then you understand, that sick created that situation. And then they recorded it and uploaded it, just showing this other person freaking out. And it worked. And then these people struggle with the fact that they believed it. By not thinking about things critically. By sitting back and allowing it to happen, by ignoring it, by not addressing something just because it makes us feel uncomfortable. We allow it to happen and continue to happen. If we don't make a change, what are we doing? Because if you ask me, if we don't make a change, we're a bunch of people standing around saying things need to change and then not doing a damn thing to make it happen. And I want to see a change. I knew from start she didn't do it. He had this planned for years. Yeah. I lived a lot of her situation, just different names and characters. Yeah. We don't all have the time to wait for the truth to come out. Like Mica, the story hit me hard. And they start that way before the victim even. So, because I gave it a lot of thought, because I didn't want it. I didn't want to do anything where I'm the bad guy. I don't want to put someone at risk. I don't want to dox or out someone. I don't want to be the bad guy. But when you don't do anything wrong and you're still attacked, how do you defend yourself? Right, exactly. We do. We need to believe the abused, the victims, not the abusers. Yes. And that's why I kept trying to repeat. This person attacked me for nothing and then act like I was attacking them. then acted like they were the victim and I was the abuser, when in fact they are the abuser. And what's crazy to me, yep, yeah, you do hear snoring. You hear, yeah, you hear 3 different dogs. It's yeah, you have 3 different dogs snoring right now. Understand you. I'm so sorry you went through this too. Thank you very much. Girlfriends only reviews. I mean, the whole thing was just like crazy to me, and I like was trying to think, okay, like this happened to so many people. So many people ended up just blocking this person. So many people are afraid to even comment that it happened to them too. And rather than living in fear, why don't we just stop the bullying? Stop the person from creating the division. Because if we stop it, we don't have to live in fear anymore. We can empower each other rather than attack each other. Critically think about it in the sense that I am just asking this person to stop. This person who started attacking me for no reason whatsoever. I had done nothing wrong. They just started attacking me. And I'm just asking for it to stop. And for them to not attack anybody else. And I won't put out anything. Oh, and I'm not going to let anybody make me feel bad about it either. So I know like some people were coming into my comments and telling me I needed to stop. I'm sorry you feel that way. And I'm sorry for any victim of abuse who turns to you. Because anyone telling me to stop, acting like I'm doing the wrong thing when I was attacked for nothing, is not the right person to turn to if you're being abused. 2 Aliens GG says the simple thing to do is for her to stop. If she continues, she wants drama. And that's the thing, is that from the start of all of this, that's what it seemed like to me, was it was just somebody looking to stir up drama. Because I've never gotten into the drama with people. Like, this was the first experience I've had with it on TikTok. And I remembered being just so confused and thinking to myself, like, what is happening here? Like, I thought I would have had to have actually done something. But, like, what did I do? What did I do? Because, yes, I'm trying to find justice for Mica. I'm also trying to find justice for the Gobbles. And that was why I rang the doorbell. To ask about the Gobbles. I didn't get to ask. And that is what made that person lose all their respect for me. Because I didn't want to do a post immediately following that moment to inform people that I rang a doorbell to ask a question that I didn't get to ask. Because I had to go to the airport. Because responsibilities. I have things I have to do. I had a list of things I needed to do that day. I had been up since 4 a.m. I had been up since 4 a.m. the day before. And I had been up since 4 a.m. the day before. And this person was upset that I didn't post to let you know that I rang a doorbell to ask a question that I did not get to ask. Because I needed to catch my flight. And then people agreed with that person. Then, and I was explaining things, I was concerned that that person couldn't understand what I was saying. I attacked them and that they were the victim. And and that I made them risk their safety. I'm still not sure how. And it made me realize that there's something happening with that person, developmentally or substance type interference. We have to stop it. If we don't stop it, then what are we doing? We all became a part of this movement for a reason. And we can't even recognize when it's happening right in front of us. We can do better. We can learn from our mistakes. We can learn to recognize it. We can better identify it. We can do something. We can say something when we see it. We're not going to be 100% all the time. There's going to be things that happen that make us uncomfortable, and we're not sure quite how to react. You didn't know how to react today. You didn't know how to respond today. But now you can go home and do research and try to figure out, okay, what is a good way to respond in these situations when you see this happening? All we can do is learn from our mistakes and try to do better next time. And that is what I aim to do. I don't always recognize it in the moment or right afterwards. But I take accountability. I take ownership of my choices, of my actions, of my behavior, of the words that I speak, and I try to do better next time. except for when it comes to swearing. Lots of times I don't try to do better. But I did make progress. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the other day before I lost my shit, I had pretty much like stopped swearing. I gave myself a pat on the back in my live, and then I kind of went off. But you guys might have noticed in this one, I've actually been doing a lot better. So, with that, please read up on Martin Niemöller and see what led to him making that speech. Also, look up, ways to approach narcissistic type behavior of victim blaming and trying to make yourself the victim and villainizing people for nothing, no reason. Start reading up on it, because there's going to be a lot of tips, and it's good to filter through as much as you possibly can to separate it out. Okay, these things I would not be comfortable doing. These things I would be comfortable doing. Become familiar with it. You're going to find yourself in the situation. You're not going to be able to identify that you're even in that situation. By the time you do identify it, you want to make sure that you can react appropriately and in a way that is not going to make things worse for a victim. Knowledge is power, and there's power in numbers. Please don't forget that. So thank you guys so much for joining my live. I'm going to call it a night. I guess I hope to see yous in the messages. Post your thoughts in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.